All right. Good morning officially. All my contact information is on the screen there, but my name is Marilyn Maxwell, and I'll be the host of the webinar session today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Feel free to use that chat feature that I mentioned. I just sent out a message to all of you saying good morning. If you've got any questions, just post them there and I will respond via text message. I try to take some preset moments throughout the webinar to stop and check those questions and address them as they come in. If I'm not able to get to your question immediately, I will, at the end of the session, save a little time for FAQ, time permitting. And then if it's something extremely specific, I'll be sure to email you directly or give you a call and walk you through if we aren't able to. Thank you, Yvette. Good morning to you too. I appreciate you sending me a message. Glad to know everyone can hear. All right, so as it says there on the screen, my name is Marilyn, and today's presentation is going to be going through just a handful of the Platinum tools that are included in your Platinum subscription, kind of our bigger powerhouse, if you will, lead generation and marketing tools that can fairly easily be set up and you can begin using almost right away. So they're quick and easy to jump into. The first few things, we can get the slide to go, there we go, are going to be on your mobile app. So I'm going to mirror my phone on the screen rather. So you'll be seeing my phone here in just a second. If you want to go ahead and open your phone as well and kind of just follow along, you can. I'm not going to go very in-depth into the app itself. I just want to go to the Platinum features within the app. So when you first open the app, you should see a screen that looks something like this. I have a Droid phone, so it looks slightly different on an iPhone or an iPad or other tablet, but the functionalities are going to be the same. So just below my name where it says Marilyn Maxwell, it says My Branded App. So just to kind of jump on in, the branded app, if you were to click on that link, if you're subscribed to the Platinum package, it would allow you to invite customers or consumers or clients, whatever they are at that stage, to download your version of the HAR app. So let's say you are with someone, you're at an open house, someone comes through the open house and that home isn't just perfect for them, it's not going to work out. Rather than saying, well, good luck, bye, of course we don't want to just send them on their way. We want to do something to nurture that as a potential customer, a lead. So this gives you the opportunity to say, I'm sorry it didn't work out today, but if you stay connected to me, I'll be glad to provide you other listings. This gives the consumer access to the full database of listings that are on har.com, but it's going to brand it with your name because that's the perk of the Platinum, to hint at the title of the webinar. So if I were to click on my Droid here in the bottom right corner, the little pink envelope, or in the top right, the little kind of person icon, it gives me the options to invite HAR contacts, add a new customer, or import from my phone. On an iPhone, it will be in the bottom left corner. It says the words new customer. Once you click that, you get all these same options to invite HAR contacts, new customers, or import from the phone. So in my scenario about the person coming through my open house, that would be the new customer scenario. So I would just click add a new customer, put their name, email, phone number, and send off that request. Once they receive that link from me, click the link and install the HAR app. Then they get 24/7 access to me, essentially. The big perk for both of y'all is y'all are connected 24/7 now through that app. Any property that they want to see or get more information about, all those leads would be routed to you rather than the listing agent because you've marketed and attempted to lead generate and connected to that consumer. It does present the IABS form on the screen to them as they're clicking the link. It will show that it's not signed, but it is at least having satisfied the requirement of presenting it, and one hopes that they read it. So once you're connected, you can see I've got some very important clients like Abraham Lincoln that I've sent it to. But you can see Joe Consumer accepted, but Abraham Lincoln did not yet accept it. He's just been invited. He might be busy being president or something. But once I click on Joe Consumer, I call it creepy cool. I can see everything that Joe has been looking at through the app, listings he's favorited, any of those types of things. So if he, again, had sent me an request to see a property or any other inquiries about listings, I would have gotten a push notification and an email to let me know that, but I can also go into this section of the menu on my phone and look at that anytime. And again, if you'll notice toward the bottom, the second to last says recently viewed listings. So any listing that they've clicked on, opened up, and just looked at, I'd be aware of that. And then of course, if they save searches or bookmark properties, I'd be aware of that as well. So this is a really great way to kind of just stay connected. It's a little softer touch than, say, the Matrix auto emails, which might be coming very, very regularly and just be a little too much for that person at that time. They just may not be in that stage of looking for property to just yet. So this at least gives you a means of staying in touch and pushing properties out to them. So branded app, all built into the HAR app. Again, on your iPhone, the location may be slightly different. On an iPad, you'd have to click the little person up there to get to the branded app feature, but the functionality is built into all of the mobile devices where our app is functional. All right. The rest of the app is mostly all the rest of the functions in there are going to be standard tools. We do have a class called the Mobile MLS class, which does nothing but cover the HAR app from beginning to end. So check out that class if you're interested in learning more about the app in general, but that's just a quick highlight of that branded app feature. One of the other big perks to the consumer outside you, of course, is that they get to see actual sold prices once they're connected to you, and then a brief history of the property price change information. They don't get to see the full archive, the property archive report that y'all get from Matrix, but they get to see the most current price changes with that MLS number. They don't see all of the price changes, status changes, and agent changes. We always want to make sure that our members, you agents, have more information than the consumer. So we give them these little golden nuggets of extra as a perk for being willing to connect and provide that personal contact info. But then you always have more information there. All right, so that's very quickly just, again, a kind of run through of the branded app. Back to my PowerPoint real quickly. The mobile app is available to all agents, all consumers. That branded feature is exclusive to Platinum subscribers. So 99.9% of the HAR app, which is a very robust app in and of itself, is available to all our members. It's just that sharing marketing piece that's specific to Platinum. All right, and then just to kind of segue back to explaining Platinum a little. I was a little cart before horse. I was showing you a tool, and then I'll tell you what the Platinum package is. When you first log into HAR, your screen's going to look something like this. If you click the MLS menu on the far left, and then MLS Platinum almost directly across from that, and then About MLS Platinum just below that. You'll be taken to a page which discusses the Platinum package and what is included. The big green button on the right-hand side of my page says View Your Subscription because I'm already registered, but if you weren't yet registered, it would say click here to subscribe. Most all members of HAR are eligible for a 30-day free trial. So as you're watching this webinar today, or even better if you plan to take the class, the HAR MLS Platinum Essentials Tools to Enhance Your Real Estate Business, or Platinum Essentials Lead Generation Tools. Both of those cover the tools. The Tools to Enhance Your Real Estate Business covers all the tools, standard and Platinum. The Lead Generation class focuses only on Platinum tools. I'll have all of this in the follow-up email because I know I just threw a whole lot at you all at once. So again, if you're interested in taking either of those courses and want to be hands-on, you could maybe take advantage of that 30-day free trial to be in the class sitting and doing hands-on if that's of interest. So Tools to Enhance Your Real Estate Business and or Lead Generation are our two big tools classes, and the Lead Gen is specific to Platinum and covers the things that are listed on the screen here. A little further down, there's more detailed information on each one of the tools that's included in the package. And some of the perks that you get with Platinum aren't specific tools. They're just enhancements to how you're able to share property. So if you're in the mobile app, for instance, and you email or text a property, share a property from either Matrix or the app to a consumer, If you're subscribed to Platinum, it's going to pull off the listing agent name and just say prepared by or presented by and your name, because again, the perk of the marketing and lead generation package is to market you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your listing. And our system knows if you are or aren't subscribed to that Platinum package. So if you share a property, it's just going to look a little different if you are subscribed to Platinum versus if you aren't. Right? So that's all stemmed from the MLS menu, MLS Platinum, and About MLS. So that information, again, is always available there. All right, so moving back to my more formal presentation here in the PowerPoint, the branded app, again, I've got some information on the Platinum package itself and then screenshots for the mobile app. This is, again, part of what you're going to be sent in the follow-up email. It's also in the handout section of the webinar up there in the upper right. So there's a little blurb about the perks for you and the perks for your consumers. And then moving into the agent website. So a little semantics and verbiage here. Each member receives what we call a profile page, which allows you to upload your picture, write your bio. It can feature any listings that you have in MLS. It's got a lot of good information on you in general and a couple of lead generation sources built in. So you don't have to do anything necessarily to have a profile. Excuse me. You should upload your picture, write your bio. So let's just pretend to find an agent. I'm logged in as Shad today just because he's an active practicing agent, whereas I am not. I'm an employee of HAR, so we do not practice. We're either unlicensed or inactive. We let y'all have all the fun, and we're just here to support you guys in that. So looking at Shad's profile, again, he's uploaded his photo. Just for the time being, ignore the little gold stars and the blue label that says Platinum. Clearly that's indicating he has subscribed to the Platinum package, and client rating is part of that. We'll talk about it a little later in the presentation, but just for the moment, ignore that feature. The picture, again, of himself, his bio that he's written. He's got a very impressive bio. Certifications, designations, if you've earned any of those, you want to be sure that you put those into your bio. If you speak other languages, consumers can search by other languages. If a consumer wants somebody who speaks Farsi, for instance, if they search and look for only agents that speak that particular language, they'll come up with only those who've declared that they speak that language. So as an example, be sure to put those in there. Consumers love that benefit of being able to find an agent that can speak that language. If English isn't their first language, they're much more comfortable potentially with someone who speaks that language. And then of course certifications and designations illustrate that you have that extra level of knowledge, that extra skill set related to having earned that designation. And if a consumer clicks on that designation, then it would show them what exactly an ABR or whatever designation it is means. So continuing on down through the profile here, the little QR code or link to start using the app and download the app. A lead generation form here for a free home evaluation, home value request. So if a consumer clicks there and fills in that they have 9 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms and 2 pools and 1,000 bazillion square feet on their home or whatever it might be, that sends it directly to you by email and allows you to then respond to that request by creating a CMA for them. Everything I'm showing you currently is standard. Each member has this display on a profile page. The map now coming down a little further, this is actually Shad's production from MLS. So your map may look different than Shad's. Shad's doing just fine in terms of MLS production here. So the little green pins represent his active properties. The orangish yellowish color represents pending. Reds represent solds. So very much the same color coding as in Matrix. Scrolling on down a bit further, there's a columnar with photo type display. So all the same properties that are represented on the map there are represented in this display. So current listings, recently sold properties, recently leased properties, and showings, which we'll talk about a little later. Showings is tied to Platinum. And then neighborhoods. Shad Bogany specializes, quote unquote, in these neighborhoods. So initially, it's going to pull the neighborhoods of properties that you've done a transaction in MLS. So if I had a closing, a listing, whether it was a rental or sale, then it's going to say I quote unquote specialize in that neighborhood. So all of this again is standard, part of the standard profile that each member has. Again, you need to physically upload your photo yourself and write your bio yourself, but the rest is automated from our system. Now, perks of Platinum. The neighborhoods that I'm focused on right here. As a Platinum subscriber, you can pick and choose. You can decide you want to focus on different neighborhoods. If we scroll back up a little bit to Shad's production, see the listing in the upper left corner, way up there near Navasota on the way to College Station kind of area. Clearly, Shad does not specialize, quote unquote, in that neighborhood. He had a closing there, but he doesn't specialize, right? Most of his production is in the southwest side, although he's quite prolific all around the greater Houston area. So he gets the opportunity to pick and choose whatever neighborhoods, up to 15, that he might want to focus as his specialty. So trying to get listings in Fort Bend or Friendswood or Fulshire might be his focus. So he can pick those neighborhoods instead of where he's had that closing way up in Robertson County or whatever that might be. All right, so now getting back to some other perks of Platinum, we talked about the ratings, client experience rating. These gold stars, as I mentioned, are tied to the Platinum package. So kind of later in the presentation, I'll get into that more, but it's tied to your MLS closings. So any closings you've had through MLS, you get an email from the system, and it sends a request for you to click provide a client email and name, and then sends that client a survey. If the client chooses to respond, then that's where this score comes from. And it's a cumulative score of all your closings throughout your lifetime, I guess, in MLS. All right, again, more detail coming soon on that one. Let's go back to see where you can begin the process of uploading your photo. I mentioned that you needed to write your bio and you needed to upload your picture. So here we go, where we can actually do that. There are several different ways you can find things throughout our system. And in the center of my screen here, in the middle of that Houston skyline picture, there's a search any topic, it says, quick search box. So if I just start typing photo, for instance, I'm going to get several different options. Your photo is where you would go to upload your photo. So pretty quick and easy to find things that way. But if you'll notice, it's also highlighted the menu over here on the far left. I know it might be kind of tiny, so let me just enlarge. See how my account is now a little darker? So I can tell that that's the menu that that thing is in. And then personalize information in your photo. So it does leave the breadcrumbs for you to be able to use the menu structure. Some folks like menus and some folks don't, and so we've got it both ways. Also in that same My Account section is your profile or bio. So again, pretty quick and easy to upload your picture here. You can see Shad's picture, again, is already there, but instead of upload new photo, or remove photo, it would say upload your photo, and so you can just pull that in pretty quickly. And then you can go preview it pretty quickly from there as well. And the specs for the shape, size, type of picture, and all that are listed right there on that page also. So then your profile bio. Again, that was just in My Account, personalized information, and the profile bio page. So this is where Shad has taken the time to write the type of real estate he does, any perks that he has to offer, having been the chair of the board here at HAR, very active at TARNAR. He has some fantastic bullet points to share. So the pink button that says Add New Bio is to add one new thing. So you would want to click Add New Bio, choose paragraph or bullet, type one paragraph or one bullet, then save. Then click Add New Bio again to add a second thing and a third thing and a fourth thing. So you do have to save in between each. Our system does not recognize a bunch of spacebar spaces or the return key. So if I had written a bullet point here and hit enter and written a second, once I click save, it's actually going to make that one big long giant bullet point. It does not recognize that enter key. So that's where you have to, again, save in between each. Add a new item, choose bullet, type your second bullet, and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and not publish that to Shad's bio. I bet he'd appreciate that. So kind of the hardest part of this whole process so far is talking about yourself and not feeling strange. Marilyn's amazing. I'm going to tell you why she's amazing with bullets and paragraphs. That's sometimes doesn't come naturally to some of us. So there is a link right here to writing a professional profile bio. So they've got some information there for agents and brokers. It was an article that was published in our HAR magazine. It's on harconnect.com, but it gives some really good suggestions about whether to use first person or third person, or things that you should say, ways to enhance your template or bio for experienced agents, but also there's tips in here for newer agents. If you're newly licensed, it sometimes is extra hard to come up with things because you feel like if you don't have real estate accolades, you may not have all that many things to say, but you had a life before and you had a business before, business skill sets, things like that. So that article will give you some good tips on putting together a professional bio there. And it doesn't have to be more than a paragraph or so, or a couple of bullets, short and sweet, as long as it's informative and helpful. And again, we go into that more. We have a class, we do have a website class, and we do spend a little bit more time on setting up your bio hands-on in that lead generation class I mentioned before. So switching to display settings in the upper left area of the screen, when we're looking at the bio page, again, we saw Shad's active listings, recently sold, and things like that in the little tabs about his property inventory. Scroll there real quick. So these things are all displayed there because he's checked these little boxes. So if you want to uncheck anything, you can certainly do that. You can see the bottom portion of the page is exclusive to Platinum subscribers. And I talked a bit about the showings option. So Shad had showings enabled. It's literally taking the information from CSS and Appointment Manager, HAR's Appointment Manager program, and generating a report of all the properties you've shown. So again, if you're newer and or if you just aren't a listing agent, you may not have listing inventory currently or all that much in listing inventory, but you're still active, you're practicing, you're busy, you're showing properties. So that's why we feature that where consumers can see those showings. You can turn it off anytime. You just uncheck the box if that's what you'd like to do. And then again, client experience rating and recommendations coming later in the presentation. And then last but not least, be sure to preview it. It's live instantly, so as soon as you write that bio and upload the picture, you want to make sure that it looks the way you think it would look and makes sense and is appropriate and professional for a consumer. All right, so that is kind of the foundation for several things. So we spent a little extra time on that one because once you get your agent web bio set up, your profile page created, the agent website is something that is now specific to Platinum subscribers. So what we just created was the standard profile page, as I mentioned, but if we go over here to Tools, Website and Blog, Manager website. As a Platinum subscriber, you get an extra layer of service for all of these marketing and lead generation type tools. So it's taken that same picture and bio and designations and listing inventory and all that and just created a little bit more robust page. It's a full website for Shad and it's more customizable. So if you'll notice, he's got his picture in the top left, but the picture in the background, the Houston skyline, that's something he would have chosen himself. He can change the color scheme. He's with Gary Green, hence the green color scheme. So again, he's customized it a bit. So the same ratings, bio, and so forth, but aesthetically the page looks different. So this is now something that I can share and promote on social media, email it to consumers. I can have it on my business cards, drive traffic there. So even if you don't have your own, say, MarilynMaxwell.com type website, you have a very robust website through HAR's functionality. You could even purchase a domain name like MarilynMaxwell.com, only your own name, and then point it to har.com/Bogany in his case, right? So then when a consumer types MarilynMaxwell.com, they're going to see my actual HAR page, but the contents on HAR, they're not going to know necessarily they're on the HAR domain because I bought a domain, forwarded it for free from wherever I bought the domain. So pretty quick and easy way to have some very personalized marketing that looks like a very robust web page. So some of the other perks of the website are that you can add your own content. So looking through these menus here, most all of these things are going to be just part of our template, things that you can click and check a little pink checkbox or don't. When we look at custom content, let me just switch to my page as an example as well. Again, I don't practice, so mine's mostly just for show. But if you'll notice on the right-hand side there, the 10 best kept secrets for sellers and buyers, this is content I found on a reliable web page. I copied and pasted it. I cited the source so I wasn't plagiarizing it. But this gives me now great information to share with consumers. I'm also now findable more so on the internet. It pumps up my SEO a bit. If somebody's Googling the terms, you know, first-time home buyer or buying secrets or whatever it is, they're going to find me that much more easily. So this again lets you have a very robust web page with your own custom content and parts of our templates just by being subscribed to the Platinum package. So back where we're building it, the About section is, again, pretty much done for you by that bio setup we did a moment ago. Pages is where you can check the boxes, pick and choose which of our pieces of the template you do or don't want. Here's where you can customize the neighborhoods. Again, Shad could choose up to 15 neighborhoods rather than only having quote-unquote specializing in the neighborhoods he's done a transaction in. And then back up to the top of that page, My Pages, about in the center of the screen there, is where you can go and add your own custom content. So this can be something like he has, listings in Cinco Ranch, or it could be buyer and seller home tips like I just had. It could also be seasonal things. It's summer now, so being a resource of information on water parks and fun things for people to do, warm fuzzies I call it. It's hurricane season. It's a little less fun than a water park, but providing good information, being a reliable resource, that's the goal there. Again, if you find good content on, say, Realtor.com, Inman News, HAR Connect, wherever it is that you find some good content, just be certain that you're citing the source on those things. But a consumer's going to a web page to get information. And if you're a good, reliable resource of information, then that will help keep them coming back to your page. So that's the idea behind the custom content there. And then last but not least, a slider. Again, I have one and Shad just doesn't happen to be using that feature. So in an example, give it a minute, it'll slide. There we go. So you can have things like, again, a link back to my buyer or seller articles, open houses that you have coming up, listings that you have. Any of those types of things can be in this slider. The idea is it slides. It's eye-catching. Again, it's something unique and different to attract consumer interest. And of course, if they click see more, it can take them to that page, which gives you more traffic and such on your custom web pages. So all that's done from My Pages and slider content. And again, we have a class on how to enhance your HAR web page, which will go into details on all of these other submenus. We just don't have the time to cover all of that in today's presentation. If you go back to the About section where we were originally talking about adding your picture and bio and such, there is a link right there for a watch and learn video. That's going to be true of almost every single tool. We have a little watch and learn video that runs 2-ish minutes on average. Some are a little shorter, some are a little longer, that walk you through how to use all the parts of that tool. So if you want to watch that little video clip later, it'll help you with the virtual office, the analytics, and other pieces. Right? Again, if you've got any questions for me, you can use the chat, but again, you'll be able to contact me directly as well. So moving on into a virtual office website. So kind of hiding in plain sight, I call it, that little button way up in the upper right of my screenshot up there. So the reason we spent a little bit of time building the bio, the web page, those are the foundations for using some of our other tools. Client experience rating, for instance, is kind of an add-on to the display on your website. This virtual office piece is an add-on feature. So back to where we were talking about the branded app. We have the branded app where they can click, download your version of the app. Creepy cool, y'all are connected to each other and you can kind of spy on them virtually, seeing what properties they've opened and bookmarked and all of that good stuff. Well, the virtual office website is the exact same type of functionality, but in a web-based platform. So this enables a button on your web page that says sign up to view premium content. They provide their name, email, phone number, whatever they'd like. Again, it's presenting the IABS on the screen. And then they're connected to you and you have that same notification that they've connected, and then the same interaction is possible with them once they're connected to you this way. Two separate databases of people is the only thing to keep in mind. You're going to have your app folks and your website folks. So you can see here Shad's got 23 subscribers on his account. Once I click on that 23 subscribers, here's the list of all the people, and I can see numbers on some of them where some have bookmarked something or I've recommended a property to them or whatever it might be. If we click the person's name, we can see when they connected to us, how to reach them. Again, if they've provided their email and phone number, we'll have that so we can correspond with them, reach out to them. If I met them at that open house, that scenario I told you that earlier in the webinar, then, you know, if I'm having it open again, I want to reach out to them, send them an email, let them know rather it's going to be open. Those types of things. So looking at your recently viewed, recently bookmarked, where it says add here almost in the middle of the screen, I can recommend properties to that client. Maybe there's a listing in MLS that's just barely outside their price range, but it's been on the market a while, so I feel like it might be a good shot to place an offer and try to negotiate that. I could click add, type the MLS number, and push that to them. You can do that in the HAR app as well. All right, so looking at virtual office website, going back to the main menu, Shad has it enabled. There's a button right here, a link that says click here to opt out. If you haven't opted in yet, it'll be a big pink button that says click here to opt in. So if you want to turn on the button, click and opt in. If you want to turn off the button, opt out. So again, you have to have the web page set up first to then turn on or turn off that feature of the virtual office website. And they are adding a feature before the end of this week, the feature to export your subscribers' data should be in there for you. So if any of y'all use a CRM currently, again, you've got a database in the app and a database on the VAL. So this would allow you to export those and put them in your CRM and work with them as well. HAR is in the process of developing a CRM, so we hope in the very near future to be able to give you a little bit more information about our product that we plan to roll out. Last I heard, before the end of the year was somewhat of a goal to get that accomplished and launched. I haven't heard an update on any ETA or anything like that recently, but when I get some more info, I'll share it with you. All right, so let's look at my questions here real quickly. Thank you for waiting, Michael. I know you sent that a few minutes ago, but for Platinum, do you still have to have a transaction in the neighborhood, or can you pick anyone? Yes. For Platinum, you can pick any neighborhood at all up to 15. So you do not necessarily have to have had a transaction, so you're good. To pick and choose whatever you'd like. And that was kind of the goal. Shad's trying to get business in Friendswood or Fort Bend or whatever perhaps, and so he was featuring those neighborhoods. So again, consumers Googling, you know, homes in Fort Bend, he's going to come up potentially as one of those results because he's an agent who has that content on his website. He's more findable. So thanks a lot for that question and for waiting a few moments, Michael. And yes, that enter button gets you, doesn't it? I've done that a time or two as well. All right, so moving back to PowerPoint, VAL, or Virtual Office website, and now finally rolling into client rating as promised. So the client experience rating, as we saw earlier, the little gold star, Shad had 4.86, I believe it was, out of 5, based on quite a lot of closed transactions in his system. So you're, again, initially going to potentially want to set up that web page, and then in the tools section, ratings and reviews, and then client experience rating is where you'll find that. If you use that quick search bar on the dashboard page, the home page when you first open HAR, just type the word rating. You can jump straight to it from that quick search, quick find option there. So again, tied to platinum, so you have to be subscribed. And then client experience rating I describe as an all or nothing program. You're either in or you're out. You have to publish all your results or keep all of your results private. You cannot pick and choose which clients you want to send it to, and you cannot pick and choose which of those results you want to display. You choose to participate in client rating, so you must send a request to each of your clients. If they don't reply, that doesn't count against you in any way, but you have to send out that request, and you have to send it out within a 15-day window after the closing. So you'll close a transaction in MLS, whether you represented the buyer, the seller, the landlord, the tenant. You're going to get an email saying, congratulations on your closing at such and such address, representing the buyer, the seller, whatever it might be. And then there's a link in that email that you click, put your client's name, email address, and submit, and then it sends that client a survey request. And the ratings, again, show up on your profile page. They show up on your website. So wherever a consumer views your name, essentially, they'll see your overall score, and then these are the 4 categories in which a consumer is rating you. Competency, market knowledge, communication skills, and overall experience. And then they're defined in the email that the client gets. It clearly states what we're hoping that it explains what we mean by communication. They updated you regularly, they responded in a timely manner, and that type of thing. It also says in big, bold, red letters on that email that the consumer receives that it must be related to you only, you personally and specifically, and only in that one transaction. So, you know, the title company messed up all my paperwork is not supposed to count against you. So, again, we hope that consumers are doing that. We understand. We aren't unreasonable. Sometimes people misread that 5 is the best and 1 is the worst. You know, you may be number 1 in their book, but that's the worst on our scale of ratings here. So if there are issues where something comes up where the client wants to change their survey or didn't understand it before they submit the results or something, we can work with you on those. We can work with your client. We can't change a rating just because you don't like it, but we can change a rating if the consumer, again, contacts us and says, oh gosh, I gave them all 1s. I thought that was the best. It's not. So, or they want to add comments or edit something, we can do that. It has to be within reason, right? If it's months and months and months and months later and y'all had a falling out over, you know, dinner one night, it's not that we'll just change things randomly just because a consumer calls in. So at any rate, you can see Shad, again, has lots and lots and lots of ratings submitted. We have some with comments from a consumer and plenty without. So when the consumer gets that email, they can tick the stars and submit it and turn it in, and that's it. Or they can also choose to submit comments if they want. You as the agent always have the ability to enter response comments. So even if they just ticked the stars and you wanted to reply with, thank you so much, it was a pleasure working with you, enjoy your new home, something like that, you can always do that. And then if the comments say something that you'd like to clarify or they're especially glowing, you can thank them profusely in your response or whatever. So each of you has a chance to make one comment and then it's closed and basically locked. So the survey can't be altered with rare exception after that point. All right, so that's again pretty straightforward. You can see off to the side here, some have been sent, but the client just hasn't responded. If it says resend, he doesn't have to. He certainly could, but again, it doesn't count against you at all if a client doesn't respond. So we have 2 different types of platforms here. This one's client rating, again, tied to MLS production. You have to have a closing in MLS, and once it's closed, it's mostly an automated system, so it's marked as sold in MLS, whoever's the listing agent, and then also whomever is credited as the selling agent in MLS gets their separate emails congratulating them on the closing, requesting that they send the survey request to the client, and it's all email driven from that point. We have had quite a few, seems to be calming down some, but we went through a phase there where we had a lot of agents, listing agents, entering the wrong selling agent. If that happens, MLS will just need to be corrected first. So if you get a client experience rating request, but you had nothing to do with that transaction, notify us as quickly as possible. Again, there's a 15-day window on there, so you have to send out that survey within 15 days of closing. So don't disregard those email notifications that you get. or it might opt you out, meaning it would take down the display of your ratings until such time as you sent the required surveys out. Right? And here's an option setting screen. Again, all or nothing, show all of your ratings and or show none of your ratings, or stop participating in client rating anytime that you want. So the stars are automatically going to be shown on your website just by you participating in the program. You don't have to do anything in terms of turning on or turning off any other displays. You just tick that one little box to show ratings, and then you're in. All right, so moving on into automatic social media posting here. I do have a couple of questions coming in here. Sharonda, how do you change the background photo on the mobile app? I'm not aware of a background photo. You can upload your personal headshot to the app, but I'm not certain that there is a background image. If there is, then it likely is only tied to your website. Could you go over citing articles again? Can you go over forwarding your domain again? I will include those things in the follow-up email because we just are a little short on time. This webinar only allows me a 1 hour window to be able to do all that. But Michael and Sabrina, I will be glad to send you an email with detailed instructions on forwarding your domain as well as citing articles. Where do we go to opt into client rating? Let me get back to my webpage here. So tools, ratings and reviews, client experience rating to opt in, and the opt-in preferences. If you've not used client rating before, this page comes up automatically and makes you make a choice. Otherwise, you can go into the opt-in and preference settings section right there and change that if you need to. And Anita, did you hear me say that you can add areas even though you didn't have a listing? Yes. On that, that's one of the perks of that Platinum web page is you can pick any neighborhood up to 15. If you haven't been using the client rating system and then decide to use it but have over 200 client emails, is there any way to get past that? Yes, Evan. Thank you for that question. So if you had ever started using client rating since we launched it way back in 2009, even if you had sent one survey, that all or nothing rule kind of kicked in, so it had expected you to send every survey from that point forward. And in Evan's question here, they're saying you have over 200 back emails that you should have sent out according to the system, right? So we do offer a one-time reset. The first choice is you could play catch up. If you have files, you've got client info, you could go ahead and send all 200 out. You could also pick a one-time reset. All right, so if you say choose January of last year, January 1st, it'll reset your account to that date, and so you'd only be required to send any survey requests from January 1st of last year through today. The pro and the con, you purge all those other, several hundred or whatever that you had in arrears, but you purge them. You no longer have the opportunity to get ratings on any of those once you purge and restart your account. So pros and cons. I always recommend that you start at the most recent closing and work your way backwards and fill in as many, send out as many as you possibly can. And then once you get to a standstill where you just simply don't have client contact info going back that far, go from there and pick a start date. Anyone in the client experience rating support team can handle that. I'm on the team, but if you dial the main phone number of HAR, the 713-629-1900, extension 371 is the client rating support team, and client experience rating at har.com is their email. So if you do have any need to reset or questions about your account or anything, any one of us at that extension or email can help you with that. Thank you all very much for those questions. So automatic social media postings, I think, is a fairly self-explanatory named tool. It will post automatically, mostly, to social media for you. So this one is going to be listings driven. So you would have to have listing inventory in order to really be able to take full advantage of this. But the idea is it will automatically post or craft a post for you. Facebook's guidelines prevent direct third-party posting, frankly, so it doesn't truly post directly to Facebook, but you get an email saying your post is all ready to go, and then you can click a button and post to either your personal Facebook or business Facebook page. Right? And in the center of the screen there again are some examples. You can connect Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, any one of the three or any combination of the three. I always use Twitter as an example. This usually works out in my favor in every one of my classes. I'll ask them to raise their hand if they have a Twitter account, but then I say keep your hand up if you use your Twitter account, and significantly fewer hands are raised on the using the account portion. Everybody has one probably, but not everybody uses it. And we all fall into the rut of using that social media that's the most comfortable for us, the most effective for us, and we forget about the others a little bit more often than not. So if you're a very prolific Twitterer, well then you're going to have presence there. You're going to have content. So you may not need the automatic posting as much as you might need it on Facebook or LinkedIn on other sites that you don't use. So if you don't twit all that often, then connect Twitter with the Facebook posting. Then anytime you have an open house, a new listing, price reduction, a sale, it's going to craft a tweet for you and automatically tweet that out. So that gives you relevant current activity and content on your social media accounts. It also showcases you as a productive agent. So, oh look, she has another open house coming up, or she listed something new. So in addition to any manual posts and activity that you have in those social media platforms, this gives you, again, some guaranteed automated content as well. And it's pretty easy, again, to find with the quick search option in our dashboard. If you just start typing social, you'll see automatic social media posting. It is in the tools. Most all our tools, it's not too difficultly, are located in the tools. The great majority of them are in that marketing tools submenu. So tools, marketing tools, automatic social media posting, about halfway down that menu there. And it's literally just a matter of click the button, put in your username and password for that site, and forget it. Set it and forget it, as they say. So again, if I'm not a big Twitterer or I just want to connect it, click connect, type your username and password for that site, authorize it, and then it's waiting ready to go for you to have some production from this day forward in MLS. And you can see Shad has Facebook connected, but not the other two. And so he's had sold and open house and new listing type posts. Again, our system will craft that post for you based on you having done that thing in MLS. And then it sends you an email. You click a button to approve the post, and it's posted to that Facebook page for you. All right. Instagram is not on the list, you may notice, because Instagram does not allow any sort of third-party posting. It also doesn't allow sharing of links. So it's just the constraints of each individual social media platform that make it either available or not available in this tool. And you can see we've got hyperlinks to the property detail pages there. So just wouldn't work for with the restrictions that program has in place, that social media app has in place. The other platform that we have related to social media, or the other tool rather related to social media, is our Facebook ads. This is fairly new. I want to say probably 4 or 5 months old now, maybe just a touch older, but it's a fairly new tool to our toolbox. And as you, again, can probably deduce from the ad, from the name, it is to generate an ad on Facebook, specifically ads about your listings. So once you get a new listing in MLS, our system's actually going to send you an email, and you'll have all of the options for marketing that listing. You have a link to the Facebook ad creator, the market insight report we're about to talk about, home site. So we have quite a few tools for you to market yourself and your listings. All of those are in the initial email that you get from our system once you list a property. They're also probably all going to be right here in tools, marketing tools. So Facebook ads is right there on the top of the list. And again, I logged in purposefully as an agent with listings, so I could show you that functionality. You can see he's completed several ads and they've been run. Up in the upper right, it says create new ad. And so here's the properties that Shad currently has in inventory to choose from. We can click on any of the properties. It pulls automatically from MLS. Your headline here is just pulling from the property address, featured listing on HAR. The subject line there is just the address, and then the basics about the property, your price, beds, baths, stories, pool, square footage, that type of thing. You can edit this verbiage, so you can change it up totally if that's what you want to do. You could just tweak it and add hashtags, hashtag real estate, hashtag Sugarland, whatever it is. And then the MLS photo, again, that's the primary photo in MLS there. If you'll notice, there's a button to change the photo, which pulls up the library of all up to 50 listing photos he may have in the system. So you can easily change the photo on that ad. The labels are going to be little icons essentially for just listed, price reductions, and or open houses. So that just puts a little cute little banner label depending on the situation there. So again, you can customize that pretty well. Again, maybe that one doesn't work quite right with the picture of the property, so I'll change to that. And then again, you can tweak the verbiage if you want to do that. All right. Looking on the right-hand side of the screen, very top right, kind of subtly, there's a little drop down up there for a 15-mile up to 50-mile radius around the listing. So my listing, quote unquote, on North Vista, and then 25 miles out from that property. So the way Facebook ads work is it's whoever opens Facebook and meets the criteria of the setup of your ad. So if some consumer just happens to be within 25 miles of this listing, they're going to start seeing that ad. I'm sure you've seen those as you're scrolling through Facebook. You start seeing sponsored ads for restaurants or shoes or whatever business might be nearby. A lot of that comes from you just geographically being close to it, and so it's pushing that ad to sponsor on your account. The other interest categories that are a little further down, that's the other factor. So we've already embedded some interest categories for you. You can't change those. So pros and cons, it's all kind of laid out for you. You can go into Facebook and create your own ads from scratch, and you've got a lot more customization options than we offer here. We wanted to put together a tool that would very quickly help streamline the process of getting an ad posted and run and up and going, and for those who just aren't that familiar with creating Facebook ads. This lays out a lot of the foundation of the ad for you, and you don't have to know what choices to make in certain categories and such. So again, pick your mileage. A little further down, your price and dates. So again, if this is an open house, I would probably set up a date range. If my open house is 2 to 4 on Sunday, I don't want the ad running past 4 p.m. on Sunday because it's wasted money. People are going to see my open house and then just be sad that it isn't really open anymore. So the money that you lay out and the time frame both factor into how long and how often the ad runs. If you'll notice, $11 is the minimum, and that gets you 7 days worth of ads running. And then down below that, you'll see up to about 3,400 almost projected audience with that 11 bucks. If I change that to 20, that significantly increases the potential reach of my ad. So still though, 20 bucks, pretty minimal investment. So for a pretty small amount of money, you can have a pretty robust ad. And again, that runs on anyone who opens Facebook, looks at their timeline, happens to be within, in this case, 25 miles away, or has Googled or searched for any one of these. So if they've gone online and typed realty property or house hunting or any of those things, again, back to my terminology, creepy cool, cookies on your device let the programs, social media and Google and all those things know what you've searched for. I've even had things I've talked about with coworkers in my office start showing up as sponsored ad because Google's creepy cool and it can hear us and pick up on those key terms. So that's the idea behind these ads. Is it's an audience of people who is not connected to you on Facebook. It's random new people who fit the basic profile here, and then it starts pushing those sponsored ads to them on their Facebook feed. All right. Last couple of things here. We're nearing the very end of our time together, but I want to squeeze in Market Insight real quickly. Market Insight, again, somewhat intuitive name. It is an insight into the market around a particular listing. This is another one of those tools that's going to be included in that email that you get when you first list a property. There'll be a link for the Facebook ads, the Market Insight report, and all of those things. Market Insight is designed specifically when we created it. We intended that you would send it to your seller. So the idea is I get a listing and then I don't want to forget about them. I still want to make them feel warm and fuzzy and keep them up to date and for myself to know what's going on around their property. So looking at one that's already created here on this particular property, Shad's got his contact info, his ratings again, photos from MLS, an overview of what is currently going on and what has sold. So my price per square foot when they're listed is $198. They're selling at $187. Not a terrible difference. It's leaning toward a buyer's market in that specific scope currently. When you set this report up, you get to pick what geographic scope you want. So it could be something small as a subdivision or as large as a zip code or something like that. And then it details out the actual active for sale properties, price reductions, sold properties. Across the top here, the traffic is the traffic on HAR.com. So how many people have opened and viewed the listing on HAR through our website and or our mobile app. Appointments tracks appointments. So if anybody has shown the property or previewed the property, there would be a detailed list of date and times that those showings took place. Again, you would have gotten detailed information, very detailed information from CSS and so forth about those appointments already. The comparables is the same list of properties that was on the home tab, but this allows the consumer to choose some different filters by changing time frames or price reduction properties only or for sale properties only or whatever it might be. Just look at them a little bit differently. Price trends in the neighborhood, price trends in the zip code, and then an overview of the last several years worth of taxes. This is new construction, so it's caused us a little different difficulties in getting some data to show on the screen as an example, but hopefully you get the idea. So again, you have to have a listing. You'd simply click Create Market Insight or the little plus on top of the little piece of paper icon down there. And then check or uncheck any of the pieces of the property detail page you don't want to include. Again, maybe that subdivision report, the average days on market or pricing or whatever, maybe there's no way I can achieve $275,000 almost for this particular listing. So I can just simply uncheck and not include that report, and then I'm not showing them numbers that are skewed or confusing or going to cause an issue with that client. Again, the geographic scope can be a radius of half a mile to a mile and a half, the same subdivision, the same zip code, a geo market area, and you can even draw on the map. So if you just wanted to look at a really very specific custom area, you can click to draw on the map. And it's a polygon, much like the matrix tool that we offer. And then the more specific, the smaller the geographic area, the fewer listings you'll have, right? There's only 7 sold listings and 1 recent new sale listing, current active sale rather, in the subdivision, but in the whole zip code, well, there's a lot more. So pros and cons, the bigger you go, the more results you'll have, but they may or may not be all that relevant to the client's house. They may not be as similar as, say, the ones in the same subdivision. But again, you pick and choose whatever it is you want to choose there. You can always preview the report and check it out before you send it. Price range, again, it's in MLS already, so it's swinging above that current list price by 3, 5, 10, up to 25%. Same thing with the square footage of the subject property. And you can choose to reveal the sold price by leaving this box unchecked. If you check it, it will give that client a price range instead of the actual sold. And then you just decide if you want it to go out weekly or monthly, and you can pick the day of the week that you want it to go out. And I would always recommend that you send yourself a copy so you know what went and when it went and what was included in that report. We're trying to make them feel warm and fuzzy, so nothing worse than sending a report and having them give us a call and we go, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. That's all automated. We lose all of the warm and all of the fuzzy. So last little tidbit here. My watch shows I have about 45 seconds, so we're going to fit it all in. The home site is an additional web page that's created automatically for your listings. Again, still tools, marketing tools, home site is what it's called. This one is tied to your listings, but literally you just need to get a listing. That's the hardest part. I realize there's a lot of work that goes into that. So you just, quote unquote, get that listing, put it in Matrix. We automatically display it on HAR, of course, but you also have this additional web page. This is a better marketing page because in a good way, it traps consumers on that detail page. So they can't get off of this page about this particular property and go to any other parts of har.com. Anytime they want to show the property, ask questions, whatever it might be, all that's going straight to Shad. So this is a perk of Shad having the Platinum package and being the listing agent. Again, the email that you get from our system as soon as you make that listing live in Matrix has all of these marketing options, the home site, the market insight, the Facebook ad creator, and all that. So the last tool I'm going to leave you with is the 713 Realtor Sign Writers. They are actual sign writers, the corrugated cardboard like your price reduction or open house sign writers. You can purchase them at the HAR locations. They're $2.95 plus tax, so $3-ish bucks. The idea is you put it on the house, and then it's like a virtual paper flyer. So instead of having to, Xerox copies and put them in a flyer tube or something, a consumer can call in, as it says, 24/7 and hear the basics about the home. The price is this, it's got X number of bedrooms, baths, so forth. If they want more information, they're prompted to press 1 to speak to you as the listing agent, which would call your phone right away. And then they also can press 2 if they choose to get a text message about the details of the property, which again would link them back to you as the listing agent. So that is an automated audio walkthrough. The moment you put the listing in Matrix, our system crafts the recordings. They're just sitting, waiting, ready to go. If you do ever choose to use the sign writers, purchase the sign writer and put it out on the property, you just add the MLS number to it yourself, and then that's it. It's just sitting, waiting, ready for a consumer to call in. And again, a good way to kind of be more available because it does call you right away. I know everything is on the interwebs these days, but good old-fashioned phone call and getting to talk straight to somebody when I want more information is something that I prefer to do if I can. All right, so we have made it to the end. We have a full toolbox of tools again in the Platinum package and that come with the standard package, and then we just want you to be successful and use the tools. So we also have a IDX widget or toolbox. This is again going to be tools and then tools for your non-HAR sites this time. Any of the code for any of these tools that you want to use, you've got them. It's available to you in the IDX tools and widgets section here. You just simply copy and paste the code. If you have your own personal website off of har.com and you want to have your client rating badge or search by map for properties or any of these functionalities incorporated, they're already in your HR web template, but you can also use them. We just want you to have the tool and be productive. So you've got all the code. You just simply click get code over to the right and you're done. All right. So thank y'all so much. I think I may have stolen about a minute and a half or 2 of your life today. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Just wanted to squeeze it all in. Again, I'm going to create a follow-up email from you. You're going to get an automated email from the system. It's going to have a poll in it. So take a moment and complete that poll. It's just asking you which tools you might end up using after hearing about a little bit more about them today. I'm going to use the answers to that poll to kind of do some more specialized webinars. If I hear a lot of folks want to know more about client rating or whatever, I can do an individual tool webinar. Thank you all very much for your time. Give me about a day or 2 for the video to render into a format where I can edit it and post it and get it to you. So look for the automated follow-up later today or tomorrow, and then another day or 2 later, a direct email from me. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Feel free to email or call me directly if there's some question that you didn't ask today or just if something pops in your mind at all. You're very welcome, y'all. Thank you. Shannon Maxwell. Wow, look at that. We must be sisters or something. Somehow we're related. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Stay safe this weekend. I hear there's not fun weather potentially. So thank y'all again. Bye-bye.